Good. So for today, what we're going to be going through is just a broad overview of who we are, just to get started. A common piece of feedback we get from charities is there's just so many platforms that you guys use on a daily basis, and so we try to keep it as easy and user friendly as possible. Um, and kind of we're just going to highlight those kind of key differentiators in terms of, why would you set up a campaign with us compared to other platforms as well, because there are so many of them. We're going to do set up our own campaign. We're going to, for this one, we've just done an example of an ab sale. With the weather getting better, it's probably one of those key kind of fundraising campaigns and initiatives that would be coming up over the next few months. And as well, we're going to be running through our optional deposit feature on this as well. So again, a really useful tool for those kind of specific campaigns and initiatives as well. We are going to run through our challenge customization. So this ties in really nicely to the campaigns. It's just a further option that you have on the campaigns to customize them. So if it's steps, kilometers, squats, dips, whatever you name it. We can do anything, and we're going to go run through how you can link your own fundraising campaigns to events on Event Master. So that's just that extra step in terms of, if you want a more powerful registration system or ticketing option for an event you're running and you want people to fundraise while taking part. So connecting the two is really easy. So we're going to show you how to do that as well. We'll leave space for a Q&A, but realistically, we're going to be dipping out with questions as we go throughout as they start coming into the chat option. So feel free to work away in there as well. So in terms of the key differentiators for us as a platform, obviously it was free to onboard. There's no platform fees. Unlike other platforms, we actually don't take bank charges by default. So the donor has the option to cover this for you. So essentially, by using the platform, you can receive the 100% of the donation that goes through. All the donations are sent in real time via Stripe, so you're not waiting for any payouts from us in regards to a campaign, and we have real time reporting for that then as well for any reconciliation. I know sometimes the real time is great, and with the reconciliation we find with Stripe, what some charities like to do, it just kind of puts you in control of when you want the payout to your bank to go to. So you might want payouts to your bank daily, instantly, weekly, monthly, however way your finance team likes to have it. So basically you're in full control of the financial element by using the platform as well. In terms of the in terms of the quantitative and qualitative factors, I'm going to talk you through some of the quantitative factors of what using a campaign through us would look like, and Catherine will take you through some of the qualitative factors in terms of what sets us apart. So if you think about, if you're running a campaign, you say €100,000 is your fundraising goal. If you with us with the competing platform, if those bank charges are taken by default, on average, you're talking about 2.5% for the bank charges that will automatically be deducted from that final figure that's sent to you. That's 2.5 grand gone from the overall impact from the campaign that didn't need to be necessarily. There's a potential setup fee, a potential platform fee, and as well if you're paying any other additional monthly or annual subscriptions for the platform that you're using. So just as a direct comparison with us, with the donor having the option to cover the bank charges for you, on average, we're seeing over 90% of donors will do this when given the chance. For them, it's such a tiny amount. But at the end of the day, if you're raising hundreds of thousands of euros on a platform or on a campaign, it makes a really big impact for you at the end of the day in terms of that overall cost saving, essentially. So with that in mind, just with that, the €100,000 figure, if they're covering over 90% of the 2.5% bank charges, you're only paying €175 on average for every 100,000 euro raised on the platform. You can calculate what your average is yourself. If there's any finance teams on the call as well, in your reports, you'll have an all donations report, and that's clearly outlined in terms of what the bank charge was and whether the donor covered for you. Um, and whether the donor covered that for you. So you'll be able to see your own breakdown in terms of what your average is for your charity, in terms of your what percentage of donors opt to cover that for you if you're interested in doing the calculations. This is just a very wide overview, broad overview in terms of the platform as a whole. Um, is there any questions on this side of it? Feel free to pop them in. And Catherine, you might run us through some of the other kind of more, I know cost isn't everything for charities. It's kind of, the bottom line is obviously important at the end of the day. So you have the funds that go to your resources, but you don't have to compromise on the fundraiser journey or those other user elements to it as well.
Perfect. Thanks, Leanne. Yeah, perfect. So I suppose just to highlight a little bit about our fundraiser journey. So when a fundraiser signs up for a fundraising page, I suppose something that sets us apart from other platforms is they don't need to sign in. They'll get a link to their fundraising page straight away, and then that can be shared out with no kind of activation or anything like that required. They can fully customize their pages as well. They can share their story, they can upload images. We've got training records as well where they can upload, when they do their runs, they can log how far that they've ran, and a little kind of update if something has happened on their training that they want to share. They'll also get communication. So by becoming a fundraiser on the platform, they're already enrolled into automated comm sequences. So if they have set up a page and they don't have any money raised on the page yet, they'll start off as an inactive fundraiser. So they'll get a certain kind of level of flow in these emails, which is basically prompts to motivate them to get that money coming in. So it might be things like, well done, you've just created your page. Now let's get fundraising, a prompt to share. After a period of time passes, they might get another prompt to self-donate or to share their page. And all of how often they get these comms can be set at campaign level. So we have documentation on all of that on our help hub, but it can be set low, medium, and high depending on how often you want them to get those emails when they're inactive. They automatically switch to an active status as soon as they receive their first donation. So we use inactive and active as terminology, but that doesn't refer to activation as such in that way. It just more means inactive is they have a page with no funds raised, and active is that they have a page and they've actively started raising funds. So again, you can set in your account settings as a benefactor how, what your milestones you wish to be for when they receive active communications. So I think by default, it's something like 100, when they reach €100, when they reach 250, 500, a couple of those kind of financial milestones. And then we have 50% of their target and 100% of their target. So you can customize all of that as well. Sign up tools. So we have a couple of different options just to kind of help prompt people to sign up to your campaigns. So the big one is probably the widgets. So that's probably where you're going to want to look at and utilize the most by placing them on your website. So if somebody is wanting to fundraise for you, they're not thinking of Eventmaster, they're not thinking of Give to You, they don't really know who we are as such. It would be the charities that would kind of know our brand. So if somebody wants to do something for you, they're going to be going to your website and they're going to want to be seeing the information that's there so that they know what they can do for you. So I suppose we just have a few tools that can kind of help you out in that way. We've got 3 different widgets that you can place on your websites. They're kind of designed to kind of work together, that they can be scattered throughout your website to try and get those funds coming in as best as you can. We've a donate now widget that can sit on the start of your website maybe. But then I suppose for campaigns, then your main focus would want to be on, we've got a campaign calendar that could sit maybe on a landing page on your own website where you're advertising what events are going on. So what the campaign calendar is, it's a little widget that can sit, you can embed some code on the back end, and it will highlight all of those public campaigns that we have on the platform that you're automatically available for selection on. And any campaign that you also add yourself onto the back end of your profile, that'll also pull onto that calendar. So people can flick through, they can see what you're available for, they can see an event they like, and then right there and then from the widget on your website, they can either view the campaign to start fundraising, or they can hit register, and that will take them off to the ticketing side of things where they can also purchase their tickets. So it goes hand in hand. Then lastly, I suppose the kind of more one that you're wanted to look at is the actual page creation widgets. So we have a functionality whereby if whether it's a public campaign or you want to set up your own campaign, you can then align that to a widget whereby it does all of your admin tasks for you in the one place. So it could be any big event that you're having and you have a page kind of explaining what the event is and telling people why they might want to fundraise for you for that event. And at the bottom, you can embed one of these widgets that will take some of their details, so their name, their email address, and then they can hit submit and their fundraising page is created for that event. We also have the option on the back end to add custom questions. So if you wanted to gather more data, such as, let's say it was a race that you were sending out branded t-shirts for, you've got the option to add that custom field where they can add in their address, their postal address, their area code, their t-shirt size. Within that, you can customize what t-shirt sizes you actually have. So whether you have small to large, extra small to extra large, whatever it may be. And you can also add your own custom questions as well. We have a default library that you can choose from, but you can add anything to this. So if there's any other piece of data that you want to collect, you can add that there and get that info. And all of that is pulled into your reporting, which again is in real time. We also have another kind of add-on to that create a page widget, what we call a deposit page. So within that, it's the same kind of flow and functionality where they can enter that data and they can sign up, create their page. But we also have the option of adding a donation. So this could be useful for if you're having, your own kind of event at charity level where you require a deposit, maybe an abseil challenge or something like that, where you want to secure that deposit and get all of your kind of data and admin all in the one place. Or maybe it's something bigger, like, maybe you have charity places secured in the Irish Life Dublin Marathon, and you want to kind of recoup some of those costs. You can also utilize it that way. If you aren't too kind of heavy on your website side of things, I know there's a lot of charities that might be a bit smaller that you aren't really channeling things through your website. We also have the option for that deposit page where you can send that out by a URL. So, whether that's in a Facebook group or whether that's on WhatsApp or even just directly through email and communications through a person individually, you can take that URL and send it to them. And then there they can fill out that, they can pay their deposit, and that's all gone to you in real time reporting and real time transfer through Stripe. And yeah, I suppose just to finish that off, like we're always here as well to support you. So if you do have any kind of queries about that, we kind of pride ourselves on being very front facing. You can always get us any fundraising queries. You can email us at fundraising@eventmaster.ie, or you can give us a call and we'll be able to help you there. I suppose as well when you onboard and then at any point throughout your journey with us, you can avail of a free demo. So, it isn't just kind of a one demo and that's it. Like if you need help at any point, you can just reach out to us and you can book in another demo with us. We find this useful for when charities have either a turnover of staff or even if you hire, individuals that are in specific departments. Maybe you have a new accountant or you have a marketing team. We can jump on calls with them and go through maybe the reporting in more detail, maybe a little bit more about the newsletters and the comms, whereby they might want to see a little bit more on that. And yeah, so just feel free to reach out whenever you want and we can help you.
That's great, Catherine. Thank you. Um, in terms of these, we're going to be going through all this as well through the campaign setup that we're going to do. So for the example, today we're going to set up an abseil challenge. So just to show you how you can customize the challenge as well and touch on some of those built-in tools and functionalities. Perfect. So let's pop in here. So we're in our test charity here for today, just like our other demos. And to set up a campaign, it's in the Your Campaign section. So for a lot of you guys, your public campaigns, instead, you're going to have like the Dublin Marathon, Cork Marathon, Limerick, everything in there. But you can set up your own campaigns in here as well by clicking on the Create a Fundraising Campaign option. To save some time today for the demos, we have 3 drafts here. But whether you're editing a campaign or set up a new one, all the controls are still the exact same. So Take the Leap is our abseil challenge that we've set up. So I'm just going to edit this one here. So when you're setting up a campaign, you have full control over the branding and customization. Again, we like to make it as streamlined and user-friendly as possible for you guys. So in the main section, this is where you'll have your campaign name, your campaign description, so what the campaign is for, why people should take part, any kind of other important information they should know. By default, your charity is going to be linked and so is your logo and any other branding you have there with us. Um, you can set the dates for your campaign, so how long you'd like this to run for, and if it's happening on a specific day. So in this case, it's the ab sale, and we're going to have it on the 30th of April. Usually, we recommend leaving the campaign run for another 2 weeks to a month afterwards. It just lets people get those last minute donations in, and once they've completed the ab sale or whatever the campaign is, if an employer is doing matched funding, or they're going to be still sharing their page and sharing their experience after they've taken part. So again, it's still prime fundraising time as well in terms of getting those donations in. Um, the custom questions down here, this is how you would kind of decide what data you'd like to collect for fundraisers that are signing up for you on your campaigns. So we've added in the address here, t-shirt size. We're going to send out t-shirts for the app sale or any kind of fundraising packs, um, and emergency contact details and a mobile number. So again, you can decide on the order by these just by pushing them up and down, edit them, remove them, and you have a whole library of custom questions here, so you don't need to recreate the wheel every single time. So you can just click on add question, close it, and it'll pop in then to the fundraiser questions that you'd like to ask. Um, in the financial side of things then, by default, it'll be your default currency when you onboard to the platform. You decide the target amount that you'd like to be on all the fundraising pages, the default donations amount, so you can decide, what donation options appear when a donor clicks on donate. So you might want them to be kind of lower, like 5, 10, 20, 50, or, you can decide whatever those baskets you'd like to be, essentially. But the donor can pick whatever um donation amount that like they can just type in whatever amount. You can allow offline donations by fundraisers. So if they've gotten a check or any of those other ones, I think by default a lot of charities won't enable this and they'll just do it, reconcile it themselves. But that is there. In the branding section, by default, your custom color is going to be pulled in by default. You can add an URL to, a landing page on your own website as well for this, or, there might be a page with any further information on it. You can customize the default fundraiser page text. So, thanks for visiting my fundraising page. Your support is really appreciated. You can customize this further in terms of, what your charity does for the community and what they're trying to do to help, essentially. These two options are for text that displays on the event sign up side of it, so we can go through that separately in our other campaign. But again, these are just auto-populated for you by default. You don't need to decide on all this wording. It'll all be pulled in there for you. You have your campaign image, so that's like your banner page on the image, so you can upload that there. Uh, you can turn off the start fundraising button if you'd like to, stop taking any sign-ups. Um, and you can just opt to keep the fundraising pages open even if people can't keep donating to them then as well. Now this is a new feature. So we have campaign resources. Um, so this essentially is an area that fundraisers can go to and download any material you'd uploaded. So a really common one that we've done here is social media posts. So like it might be a block that's a post for Facebook or Instagram that's more of like a square, or like story format where they can easily share their page and pop in their fundraising page link. You might decide to do like badges or anything up there if they've reached certain milestones. You want to encourage them to interact with the challenge a bit more as well. So you can be fully creative with this as well. These are just two examples we have in as well. And by default, you can pop in your links to your social media pages. So it's a fully customized landing page essentially for your campaign to have all that in there for you. And the last one, we don't have challenges on this one. Um, one other option just to highlight as well for the campaign, there's SMS notifications available now for charities. So basically, as soon as that participant signs up creates a fundraising page. If you're collecting their mobile number, you can opt to send an SMS notification. This is free as well, so the fundraiser will instantly get a text. You can customize what the sender name is. So, it doesn't necessarily need to be from a Vetmaster gives you. It can be from your charity name or something a bit more personal. Um, and they have the link to their page. It's not going to go to their email, it's going to go to their phone, so they can just get text messages and share it instantly then as well. So that's only a new feature that's actually been added in the last few weeks as well. That's had a big impact. And the sender name as well, you can, this one here overrides the sender name in the automatic communications that go out. So instead of the emails coming from Event Master, it can be, Leanne from whatever your charity name is, essentially, or whatever you'd like it to be. Again, it allows you to kind of fully customize the fundraisers experience. So from the front end, this is your campaign then. Essentially, this is where your fundraisers are going to be pulled in by default for your fundraiser leaderboard. You have your story, your start fundraising link option that's there. You can share that. But for the purposes of this one, what we'll show you is to do this. So for av sales especially, and for those kind of campaigns, we find getting a deposit for as part of the initial sign up is a really common wish for charities, or a common part of their operations. So I'm going to pop down to our widget section down here. And for this one is the create a page widget. So we want people to create pages, we want people to start fundraising. So if I click on create a page widget, um, this one is we want to have a deposit taken as part of the sign up. So I'm going to click on deposit. I may as well make a new one. So I'll do add new, select what campaign I want it to be. So we are going to do it for the Take a Leap campaign, and the deposit is say €200, and save. Once I click on view there, then um, you have two options essentially. The first option, like Catherine had said, is you can copy and paste these two pieces of code, send them to your marketing team or your web developers. They can fully embed that into your website, and you can fully customize how the fundraisers sign up, what their fundraiser journey is, with the sign up process there. You have a preview of what the widget would look like here, if you are going down that embedding into your website option. So again, it pulls in all your custom questions that you've added, and it'll allow the person to pay the €200. Their page is created instantly. They have their text message with their link, and away they go. It's all done. Um, and with the URL link as well. So this is your other option. So if you don't want to embed this on your site, um, for this campaign and any other campaign you'd like to set up, there is a URL link option as well. So if you click on this one, you can use this essentially to take payments and allow sign-ups as well, without having to embed it on your website. So again, it just pulls in your banner image, it pulls in your story that you added into your campaign, and it has the full sign-up form with all the questions, and allows the person to pay the deposit. Um, I think as well, just to note, there is no cost or platform fees or banking fees associated with the initial deposit. So these are absorbed by Eventmaster. So again, a really easy tool essentially, and uh, basically two options in terms of those sign-ups coming through for your initiative or campaign as well. Is there any questions on the campaign or the widget or payment URL side of things? Feel free to pop them in. I don't think there's anything in the chat just yet. Um, Okay, perfect. We will keep going. Actually, just to note as well, with the deposit, this can be added to the person's page as their first donation. Um, so again, if they have the 150 or €200 sign up, and their overall total to fundraise is 500, they just have the other 300 to donate as well, or to get in their other donations. We find this is really useful. I think sometimes people can be a bit shy in sharing their page at the start where there's nothing on it. So if they've had that, they've paid their deposit, it's on their page as their first donation, and we find it's a really good motivator in terms of, people are sharing the page instantly as well and more likely to keep going with it as well. So a really handy tool to have. Um, Perfect. So we might move on to challenges. So I think it's kind of a really, really popular fundraising activity over the last while with charities. I think the with Facebook pulling out of the market with the fundraising side of things, it really hasn't impacted the flow of the challenges for charities doing them. Because you can kind of still, I think a lot of charities still benefit just from having those Facebook groups, but still using other technology to, get people involved in the challenge, whether if it's steps or dips or squats or whatever it is. So for our challenge that we set up here, we've done just 100K your way. Obviously, you can fully choose what your challenge is. So I'm just going to click on edit. Very same interface as we've seen before, campaign name, your description, your logos pulled in, you can customize the financial side, branding side, and for the challenge sessions. So again, we've made this really user friendly, but we're more than happy to set up the challenges for you, either if you'd like as well. So you just need to tick the enable challenge option. You can give a brief description of the challenge in terms of how it works or what the goal is. Again, fully customizable for you in what you'd like the description to be. You decide on what the measuring unit is. So for this one, we've just done kilometers. The personal target is 100 kilometers. You can disable it and the personal target and have it as an overall campaign target as well if you'd like. Um, and you can choose whatever the activity is then as well. You can also choose custom measuring units. So this is where you put in your squats or dips or skips or whatever those are, so people can accurately record essentially anything for the platform. And have all that functionality built in for them. Um, we found as well it's a key ask for charities that came up when we were building this functionality was that they found people were either fundraising and not doing the challenge or doing the challenge and not fundraising. So there was kind of a disconnect between the actual activity and the fundraising element side of it. Um, so with the flow we've actually designed is as soon as a person updates their challenge, they're always prompted. They have that built-in prompt to share their page straight away and share their update and make it really engaging and keep people engaging in both the activities, which has had really good results. I think we had a separate webinar with the Irish Heart Foundation on that one in terms of them giving feedback on the whole session and the impact it's had for them in terms of the flow. So I might circulate that as well after the call. So that's it. So again, this is really simple in terms of just your basic campaign setup, and then you just have this other campaign section to just populate simply as well with it. So from the front end, this is what it looks like, 100K your way. So the very same, you're just going to have your challenge pulled in here as well with how many kilometers have been completed overall by all the fundraisers. And again, the fundraiser will have this, tracker on their own page as well to see what their kilometers total is and what their fundraising total is. Um, and yeah, the very same if you want to do the sign up on your own website then as well. You have the two options. So you can have the start fundraising link for the campaign, which is here. You can easily just share that on your website as part of like a sign up option. And it's the very same then in your widgets. Create a page widget. For this one, there wouldn't necessarily be a deposit needed. So I'm just going to select 100K your way from the drop down, and you're going to have your code here that you can use, and then you have your preview of it then as well. So it's really interchangeable essentially between all the different options there on it as well. And in terms of the other kind of engagement or marketing tools then built into your campaigns, you can edit. You'll notice the next section next to the edit button is your comms. So this is where you would see the different fundraising templates that are there. So you basically can edit any of the emails that are going out. So by default, it'll pull in that campaign image automatically. So like your nice banner, your branded banner image that was in there, that will be in there by default. And you have all those built-in links then, yeah, for the person's fundraising page individually. They're prompting to customize their page then as well with the edit button. So again, fully built-in customizable comms tool in that section there. And then the next option is if you're running a campaign year on year, or maybe different months in terms of your acquisition and things like that, you can basically copy ads. So copy ads basically duplicates your campaign. So if you found that setup really worked, you don't have to set up recreate the wheel every single year. Um, if you want to have set up a challenge that is active for the year for people to take part in at any time, but participants have a month deadline to do a challenge, can the parent page be for the year, and then the participants page will have its own deadline based on when they do it. I imagine that would actually be quite an easy uh, addition to do it. All the comms that go out, um, again, we have the full timeline on the in the uh, support hub, essentially in the support section for you guys. But it is set on 28 days. So essentially, for the comms, they're based on the first 30 days after the fundraiser has set up their page, and the 30 days then as well before the event date, if there is an event date set. So yeah, it'll be no problem to have a challenge for the year. But if you do want to look at giving specific page deadlines, I imagine it would be quite an easy thing for our development team to do. Um,
It's something that we're actually currently looking into because we've had a couple of other charities ask
oh,
for it as
nice.
well.
Okay.
So, yeah, we will be looking into getting that kind of rolled out in the coming months. Fingers crossed.
We have our own development team. Obviously, the platform is quite new. It's only been around the last 3 years, and really like a really big impact in 3 years. But all the functionality you've seen here has come from um, charities giving feedback, charities looking for things, and we've essentially built the platform around that. Um, yeah, again, any suggestions like that, always send them on to us. We're always all ears in terms of new features and functionality. Um, the other links you have here is your create page. So this is your create page option. So this is your link to create a fundraising page in your campaign. You have a separate link to your leaderboard as well if you'd like to display that, and your generic link. So for any marketing heads here, if you are using a separate comms system, essentially you can still benefit from, uh, sending people their unique individual fundraising page links and links to update their fundraising page, a link to update their challenge. So essentially, if you copy and paste this link into the open your fundraising page button in another email that you sent out, if I click on that link, it'll open my fundraising page. If Catherine opens that link, it'll open her fundraising page. So basically, the system basically will uh, read what email address is opening the link, and it'll pull the fundraising page that's associated with that uh, person, essentially. So it's one link that you can send out in one mass newsletter, but it'll open up all people's individual links. So again, you have lots of different options here where if it's for the person's fundraising page, if you want them to prompt them to customize their page or update their page, and another custom link there for updating their challenge. So like that, even if you wanted to send in and send out any additional uh, comms through your own kind of system or anything like that, it's fully interchangeable with the system, and you can fully kind of benefit from both systems essentially. And the last one that we will look at as well is uh, an event. So for any charities that are looking to set up their own events on the system, again, the campaigns work just as well in terms of having really powerful sign-ups and that instant activation, getting those deposits without the fees. Um, Whereas if you want to actually sell tickets to something or have a really kind of powerful registration system for an event you run every single year, or maybe not every year, uh, you have access to this within the event master system as well. So the first step would be to set up your fundraising campaign for the event. So the very same as what we saw here. The only difference is that you might look at the branding elements here. So maybe customizing the text to display on the registration page and the text to display on the order complete screen once the person has checked out and bought their tickets essentially. And then as well, you can decide if this will be on by default for you all, but you can decide whether pages are optionally created for the fundraiser once they've registered for the event or if they're auto created. So the auto creation is always on by default for charities setting up their own events because 9 times out of 10 it's a fundraising themed event and everyone we hope everyone would be fundraising in it. So the setup is the exact same. The only difference is then you'd click on the My Event section on your account, and this will bring you in to show your event. So I have the climb set up in here as well. So this is the Event Master event editor. You'll all have access to this as well. Essentially, everything the Dublin Marathon organisers have access to, all organisers have access to. We don't do any kind of tiered um, uh, model essentially in terms of the functionality. So again, it's very easy to set up. So you just have your details section, the event name, the short description, long description. Uh, you add in your event dates. Again, very straightforward. You can add in your different ticket types, the different prices, the different availabilities on them. You have an option, you can customize the design part, adding in your images, customizing the colors of your sign up page, and then you can customize your kind of your questions. And again, there's a library in here then as well, fully in terms of what ones you can use. And again, we can help you build all of this out as well, and there's no setup fees for this one either. So in terms of connecting this, if you want people to be able to fundraise as part of the event, we're going to go into the fundraising section here in the advanced tab and essentially click on customized campaign, and all your campaigns will be there in the drop down for you to pick from. So for this one, it's the climb. And we'll just save that there. Go back to our events. So when I open up our event here now and our event URL, you'll notice this is where people can come on. They select their ticket, hit proceed. They can fill in all their details, and then this is your default text that will appear here again that you can customize from the campaign side. It basically fully integrates the two. So as soon as I check out, I instantly have my fundraising page with me, and I have my tickets to the event. They're managed all in the one place um, then for us. Um, for any charities looking at setting up their own events, then as well, you benefit from having your events on the Event Master calendar. And if anyone, we're always more than happy to do. Obviously, there's over I think 1.5 million tickets sold on the platform now every year. But if there's any charities looking for any kind of external promotion of their events as well, I think advertising was a question that came in the sign up to the webinar today in terms of the advertising side of it. We would obviously have a pretty large database in terms of people who buy tickets to the platform. So, if you do want to send out any kind of emails to like a broader event master database, just get in touch with me and I can work with you on that. Um, in terms of, encouraging those sign ups. So whether if it's uh, a run, a cycle, a fashion show, a food festival, whatever your event is, it can be all done through the one system, and it's a big benefit then as well because with the system being fully integrated in all your reports, you're just using the one platform. Everyone that signs up to your event is instantly going to have a fundraising page created. So you have instant clean data essentially, and you're not trying to get people to sign up and then go through all these separate steps of getting them to then set up a fundraising page. So you kind of have that instant acquisition from as soon as they've registered, they're on their fundraising journey. They're not, you know, setting up a page 1 week before the event or a few days before the event. So you're kind of with them every step of the way, essentially for that side of it. And pop back in here. Um, So yeah, essentially, I think it's one of the common things. I think a lot of charities kind of don't realize they have access to the event side of it as well, but you absolutely do. And again, we're more than happy to. Uh, these webinars are really useful in terms of you get a broad overview. We'll do an example together, but we're always more than happy to set up the events for you. I know a lot of charities are volunteer run and small teams. Um, or if you want to be self-sufficient, you have that flexibility that you fully can through the system as well. The widgets then again are the kind of the biggest game changer in terms of uh, if you want to be fully in control of that fundraiser journey, keeping them engaged on your charity's website, that's really powerful because essentially when a supporter or a fundraiser is um they're going to go to your website to find out how they can support you essentially and kind of keeping them engaged there and having them as part of kind of your traffic, your community on your site. That's really important to a lot of charities now as well in that kind of fundraiser flow. So with the widgets, if you are looking for that, um, it's all there for you essentially. Um, if you don't want to use widgets and you're still looking for that kind of tracking or analytics, we do have, if there is any marketing people on the call, let me know. But there are, we can do integrated, Google Analytics tracking, Facebook pixel integration, TikTok pixel integration, for any of that other kind of advertising that you're doing through your events and campaigns. So you can really kind of harness all your kind of your advertising spend essentially through that as well. So uh yeah, those different options there. And just to recap on the challenges then, again you have the new feature essentially is the built-in resources. And again, like everything else, there's no setup cost. The funds are going to you in real time. And again, everyone has instant access to their fundraising page. Good fundraising. And just to show you what these look like, so let's start Take the Leap campaign. This on if you have resources added to your campaign, you'll have a campaign resources section on your campaign page essentially. And again, you can share this link in your comms, on your website, wherever you'd like it to be. So in these two examples, we just did like a social media post that people can share to their Facebook or Instagram feed. And then as well, you can upload story templates to get people, sharing things on their Instagram stories or anything like that. So you can be fully creative here. These are just two very quick examples that we pulled together for the demo today. That is, I think we've kind of covered everything. Feel free to pop in any questions there now. I know we covered a lot uh, in a relatively short space of time. We do have, you'll notice in the your charity platform. At the very bottom is the support section. So we've actually revamped this in the last week. So when you come on, you can still search for anything you need, but everything is broken down now. So you can come in and just look at the basics for getting started, the events and integration side of it, everything to do, all the guides for widgets, all the guides for campaigns, your challenge guides, finance and reporting guides, webinars and video resources, and any kind of like communications and engagement guides in there as well. So you never have to remember everything we say on these kind of calls. It's all there for you in step by step guides then as well. Or, even if you just want to have a broad overview in terms of the offering, um, that's there for you as well. And then just below is just the most recent ones that have been added to the system. So any kind of new functionality would be here first and foremost then as well. Is there anything you wanted to add in, Catherine, actually, before we finish up? I don't think there's any questions after coming through.
No, I think you covered it all there, Leanne. I suppose just to kind of say again, like we are always happy to help. So just do feel free to reach out to us, whether it be by email or phone, and you can come straight through to one of us here in fundraising and we can give you a hand. So that's no worries.
Yeah, we'll always it's always fun doing the Teams calls and getting, seeing the different kind of campaigns and events coming through and getting them set up and seeing them through from start to finish. Um, so yeah, thanks so much for joining us, guys. I might stop the recording there now, and we'll get this circulated to everyone in the next few days. But definitely reach out to us if you need any kind of one-to-one calls. This is very broad in our own examples, but you might have a particular fundraising idea for an event. We're more than happy to set up a draft together, see if you're happy with the flow, and do something a lot more kind of customized than a kind of broad overview. But again, thanks so much for joining, and I hope you have a lovely rest of your day.
Thanks, guys.